Opportunity, Richard. You know, it's one of the situations whereby I'm an ex-player, want to be a manager stroke coach, and it's all about getting opportunities. Unfortunately for myself, I've had limited opportunities in the UK. That's just the fact of life, and for some reason I seem to be able to find an opportunity in the States. This is probably my 5th or 6th job that I've been given. I've accepted 4 and I've turned down a couple, whereas in England I haven't even gone for an interview. So that for me suggests there is an issue. I know there's an issue. I know that I'm one of the first generation black English players to come through, and there's no track record of and history of black coaches and black managers within the UK, whereas in the States there are a number of sports that have black coaches and black managers. In baseball, in the NFL, just to state 2, in basketball for sure. And I just think in England that opportunity right now isn't there, so I have to go where I can go to try to hone my skills as best as I can, try to improve and to try to develop myself.
And how does that stop? How do you overcome the obstacle of black managers and coaches just not being employed in the UK?
That's not for me to suggest, Richard. I mean, I've brought suggestions to the powers that be, the Football Association, the PFA, the Premier League. I introduced the Rooney Rule to them in 2003. That's in effect here, which is the NFL ruling, which means that any jobs that become available, there's an ethnic minority candidate that will be interviewed for that post. And my argument on that front, why I brought it to the UK, was the same. If we're not given the opportunity to address the powers that be that make decisions, then we're never going to get any opportunities to actually do the job. The proof where I'm concerned is I've had 7 interviews outside of England. I've been offered 6 jobs out of that 7. They haven't been given to me. I've gone through the whole process as everyone else does. They've put their best foot forward. I've put my best foot forward, and for whatever reason I've managed to attain that position. In the UK I wouldn't even be considered if a CV came on the desk from me to a chairman or a club, whether that be non-league, whether that would be the professional environment. I think that's a sad indictment. I personally feel slightly aggrieved by it because I'm born in England. I played for England at most levels, from juniors right through to the full international. I think I have a lot to offer to the game in England, but for whatever reason I haven't been afforded the opportunity apart from 4 months at Luton Town.
The Rooney Rule, it was mooted about a year ago in the UK because there were issues. I mean, Paul Ince obviously was in and out of jobs, and they were talking about black managers at the highest level. And Chris Powell is doing very well at Charlton, but that Rooney Rule was mentioned. It seems to have disappeared.
Disappeared is probably the correct word, Richard. I mean, I'm disappointed, slightly frustrated. People say it might be considered as tokenism or positive discrimination, call it whatever you want. I'm not really concerned about the titles and filling quotas. It's about opportunity, and I think there's a major disparity within the UK in regards to those ex-black players who want to continue their careers as professionals within the professional game, which they served for most of their career, maybe 20 years in some cases, at the highest level, whether it's Champions League finals, whether it's World Cup finals, but for whatever reason that doesn't then transmit or transfer into a coaching career of any consideration in the professional arena after they've finished. Yes, I keep hearing about grassroots football and coming and go and getting your license and then work your way through the system through that way. It doesn't happen. There are many coaches from 20 years ago that had their A licenses that never got opportunities. Cyril Regis, Luther Blissett, just to name 2, went to the FA and done all their badges and everything else. That still didn't then create an opportunity down the road. So there is a serious problem in terms of afterlife for any professional footballer, but particularly when you're black and ethnic minority. And at this moment in time, there might be a stigma because there is no track record there, or we're starting to build one with Chrissy. Chrissy Houghton's done fantastic, but Chris has been at it for 20 odd years. Now in the last 5 years, he's been offered 3 managerial positions or 4, whatever it may be. Fantastic, and rightly so. But he had to stay at Tottenham for many years, work his way through. Not that we're adverse to that, or I'm adverse to that, but it's getting that foot on the ladder to start with. This moment in time, I can go through the whole 92 clubs and there's very limited people of diverse natures within those setups. So the Rooney Rule would have created a vehicle whereby managers and chairmen and chief executives would have at least had to offer the opportunity for someone who was qualified and capable candidate to go there and address them. Whether they had a preconceived idea of who they wanted to be manager at the time, it still doesn't matter, because it's been proven that after that person has been given the job, their preferred choice, if it hasn't gone so well, because the candidate had interviewed well previously, they've went back to him at that time, second and third time, and he then created an opportunity for himself. If you never get in front of anyone, Richard, I can never then tell my story, my vision, sell my thing, and hopefully be given that chance.